Right, keep the ball rolling there. Our special choices. Let's start off with the Tomb Guard.
Tomb Guard, okay. These are your elite, and pretty much as good elite as you're going to get. So, 11 points. Strength 4, toughness 4. Comes with killing blow. You know, you can have it halberds if you really want to. Yeah. Again, I don't know, what did Adam run?
He ran halberds last time. They worked pretty well for him. But
yeah, chewed through a few of some knights.
Yeah, I said he worked his way across the table.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, 11 points. That gives you light armor shield. Wish it was heavy. Oh well, it's only light.
Yeah.
So again, same problems with skeleton warriors. They're slow. So outside of magical support, you know, position right, else you'll be walking across the field, and you can be, you know, just like dwarves, they can ignore you.
Yeah.
But once you do get there, what do you got? Well, you got killing blow. You got, you know, good strength. The magical laws again working well with an elite unit.
Yeah, and if you got your big fella in there, the weapon skill 6.
Yeah, weapon skill 6. So makes them hard to hit. You know, toughness 4. You know, reasonably hard to wound.
Yep.
If as long as you don't give them halberds, still got a parry. So
yep.
Combines for a reasonably resilient unit. Plus, of course, you can be healed.
Yeah.
So all quite solid.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, magical banners can be brought.
Yeah. Have they found your way or their way into your army?
I'm doing a few different concepts, so not yet.
Okay,
but definitely would recommend them. You know, they're a good unit. They're a very good unit. You know, I look at them and say, oh, I'm primarily a beastman player, and you know my beast skills are 12 points, and you know for 11, 13 for something which is dead reliable, meaning don't run away ever. Because trust me, I've got beast scores run off the table a couple of times without, you know, firing a shot in anger. And you know, that's the great thing about undead. Dead reliable, they're hard, they're tough, they do the damage. Again, they just need a little bit of magical push to get them in position.
Yeah. Alright, so keep going, Mike.
Alright, Necro Knights. Necropolis Knights. Okay, I like these guys. Yeah. You know, 65 points, and you look at what do you get? Well, again, beastman player, I pay 55 points for a Razor Gore.
Yeah.
And this is something very similar. Same speed, you know, even though I can march. But you pay 10 points for a 3+ arm save, which is good.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot more attacks. You know, 3 strength 5 attacks with poison off the snake, and 2 strength 4, strength 5 on the charge, spear attacks with killing blow off the guy. Yeah. You know, and if you really wanted to, you could entomb them. Whether it's worth the 5 points each is up to debate, because you do have a lot of stuff which can do it a lot cheaper. But again, if you really want another hammer unit, then these guys I think are well worth it. They're fast, they're hard to kill, they pump out a lot of attacks, and of course, you know, again, and some of the laws stuff works quite well with them as well.
Yep.
Okay, we'll probably run them at least 4 wide.
4 wide, yeah.
Yeah. Again, you have problems because they're Monsters Cavalry. You don't get the mount attacks from the second rank. You don't get the guys. So really, maybe 4, maybe 5 on the outside.
And they are running on the chariot bases, aren't they? So
yes, they're huge. So they have a massive footprint. But yeah, so wouldn't really run them in 2 ranks. Just take them 1 rank and just throw them into something. Again, without throw them into some dwarves. They did all right until they got counterattacked. But yeah, by themselves, they do a fair amount of damage.
Right.
Okay, Tomb Scorpion, 85 points. Now, old players are not very happy that you can't pop up and charge with the old it came from below rules. But in my mind, for 85 points, again, for what you're getting for a Scorpion, is still pretty good.
So how does that, sorry, just the come below, how does that change? How has that changed?
Well, basically, in the old rules, apparently you could basically, you popped up, well, you placed your token after people deployed, you roll your dice on turn 2, and on 4+ or more, you know, and progressively, you pop up, and from there you could charge.
Yep.
Basically, they're taking away the ability to charge, but you do get to place the counter anywhere you like.
Yeah, okay.
At any time. So
it
basically,
doesn't scatter anymore, is it?
Oh, it does. It can scatter. But basically, say turn 2, roll for ambush. On the 3+, it turns up.
Yep.
You place it where you want it. Roll some artillery dice. If it scatters, it scatters. If it rolls a misfire, you have a 1 in 3 chance of dying.
Okay.
So it's not that bad. It's, you know, it could be worse.
Yeah.
And then from there, you're free to move.
Yep.
So what can you do with a Scorpion? Well, you got your War Machine hunting. You know, since you can place it anywhere you like. And then, of course, the other thing you think about is redirected, which, you know, you're charging your chariots, for example, and there's a unit on the flank, you know, and the guy's like, oh, yeah, that's a very viable flank charge there. Well, if you've got a couple of ambushes stowed away, roll them up, chuck them in front. Even if he scatters off position, he's still got movement 7 to get back into position.
Yep.
And the very worst, a Tomb Scorpion charging into a unit of infantry from behind will more than likely hold them up, even if he completely fluffs, you know, between with +1 charge, +2 for rear. He will lose by 1 if the guys do nothing and he does nothing, which is very rare, I think. And because he's a construct, you know, he doesn't care about that, so he'll just hold them. So at the very worst, he'll keep them there and then have maybe die in the next turn. But other things like, again, razor galls, if I charged into rear and fluffed my rolls and I lost by, 1 or 2, I had to run. That'd be it. The unit would be get the free reform.
Yeah, you're better than holding up for 1 turn, makes a big difference.
Oh yes, especially if it allows your chariots to get back into position to line up the next one.
Yep. Right.
Okay, moving on to Ushakti, your basic monstrous infantry for the tombs. Okay, 50 points. And with that you have the choice of either the great weapon, extra hand weapon, or great bow. It's not too shabby.
They're all free choices for the upgrades.
Yeah, they're all free. As I said, 50 points and you don't have to spend a dime more. Okay, so people have sort of been, on the forums at least, have been complaining that he's just not as good as what you should be paying.
Yeah.
But then again, you've got to look at what it is. Okay, he's weapon skill 4. His strength toughness 4. Okay. His initiative is 3, so as far as monsters infantry go, that's better than average.
You compare him to like the ogres.
Oh yeah, he's better than an ogre.
Better than an ogre, yeah. And it's almost a little bit more expensive than an ogre, but
well, for that you get, again, dead reliability. You're undead. You do have a save, even if it's only 5+.
Yep.
Well, I think you'd be looking at more closely to say an iron gut. An iron gut's 48 points with a great weapon. Yep. These guys are 50.
And they got better leadership.
Well, leadership is irrelevant.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter.
Because you're undead.
Yeah.
But things such as but what interests me is the bows. Strength 6 bows, range 30. Always hit on 5s. Okay, so what you do with a unit of 8 of them?
It's quite a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's a reasonable amount of damage. Strength, and especially if you get the magic law which doubles up the shooting. You're pumping out 16 strength 6 shots.
Especially leading up to, obviously they're going to start bringing out more big monsters. For the game, so
yeah.
Then take out something like that.
Yeah, one nasty little trick I thought of was maybe getting a herald with the flaming banner, stick him in there. Because what do you do if someone's in a building?
Yeah, you set it on fire.
well, you got a whole bunch of strength exposed, rear onto wound because they're flaming.
Yeah.
And then get the double dutch and then go, wow, here's 16 shots.
Yeah.
I don't have to charge you. I'll just shoot you out of the building. I only hit you on 5s.
Yeah.
What's that? What's cover? Oh, what's that? No, it's nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all good. Combat-wise, about middle of the line what you expect for, say, an ogre-style monstrous infantry type. Okay, Tomb Swarm. Okay, basically a cheap ambusher. It's entombed from below, so, at 40 points a pop, minimum of 2 swarms, 80-point War Machine Hunter.
Yep.
Again, if you've got a couple of scorpions and a couple of those, it just means rather than having maybe 1 unit or 2 units, maybe have 3 or 4.
Yep.
And that just gives you plenty of options to say, well, if one doesn't turn up, it's not a big deal, and you can just space them out, give yourself, plenty to go. Okay, Carrion. These guys got a lot better.
Yeah.
Okay, again, they're flyers, so they don't need help getting into position. Movement 10 is get you on. 3 attacks at strength 4. That's not too shabby. Against light
for a
units.
24-point model anyway.
Yeah, so minimum size is 72 points for 3 of them, and that's 9 strength 4 attacks.
Yeah.
It's better than the kick in the butt, really.
Yeah.
And they're reasonably hard to kill, toughness 4 and 2 wounds. So against light stuff, again, they can go War Machine hunting, and just another little cheap, useful unit you can have floating around.
Yeah. Just to piss your opponent off.
Yes, of course, and because people expect Tomb King's armies to be slow.
Yeah.
And unwillingly, this is something which can be very, very flexible.
Very different.
Okay, and the War Sphinx. Okay, this is the first of the big rares to be discussed, and well, what can we say? Wow. Again, as I said, I'm a Beastman player, and what can I say about my big rares is not a lot. So 210 points. What a bargain. So what do you get? You get a toughness 8 creature, 5 wounds, toughness 8.
It's quite, yeah.
So it's like anything bar cannonballs.
People are going to argue that you can hit anything or wound anything on a 6 now, but still need to roll those 6s.
Well, because normally with most big rares, you'd be avoiding something which would be about, pumping out strength 6 hits, strength 5 hits.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
These guys would go quite happily tap dancing into those. Goes, oh, what strength are you? You less 6 or less? Cool. So it's like, because you need 6s. It doesn't care what you hit me on. You still need 6s to win me. So against, things like, well, say, Warriors of Chaos corned up Hellbeds. Sure you can hit me on 3s, but you're still going to win me on 6s.
Yeah.
And whereas this guy, he's designed to be a unit crusher. He crushes infantry. That's his job.
Yeah.
He's,
he makes his bread.
4 strength 5 attacks basic with another, 4 strength 5 on the charge guys from the Tomb Guard at top. Plus, you can swap it out for Thunder Crush.
Yep.
And which Thunder Crush is basically you can trade your Sphinx's attacks in. So instead of the 4, you get the 1. If you roll a hit, you get basically a Stone Thrower template.
Yeah.
You know, again, quite effective. So, very good. And for 210 points, it's a steal.
Yeah.
And of course, you can choose to have Fireball for 20 points. It's a Breath Weapon, Strength 4. Always a bonus.
You're right.
Okay, and the last of the specials, the Spectral Stalkers. That's the snakes. Not the snakes, it's the... Well, they look like snakes.
Yeah.
Okay, again, these guys are an interesting unit because they are entombed beneath the stands. So they're ambushes.
Yep.
But again, they are the only, well, one of 2 units which can be reasonably ranked up. The difference is they have the gaze. The, what is it? Transmogration gaze thingy. Turn you to stone sort of stuff. So basically means they can stay in ambush, pop up, and then basically start shooting something. Because it's a range 8 attack. It's artillery dice worth of shots from each one. If you roll a misfire, it's D3 strength. D3 wounds, D3 strength will hit, something like that.
Lead belches.
Yes, pretty much lead belches, but not as bad.
No.
Not as no, but much better than that. And it goes against your initiative. Now that opens up a whole can of worms against some particular armies. Well, imagine turning up next to a unit of Saurus, initiative 1. You know, okay, so I wound you on 4s, and I'm, you know, if you get 15, 20 hits off a unit of 4 or 5 of them, you know, that's a lot of damage.
That is. Yeah.
Do that a couple of times, and then in serious trouble.
There's no unit to shoot at anymore.
Yeah. So. And of course, you know, things like Hell Cannons, again, initiative 1, anything, Stegodons, stuff which would normally be very hard to kill, these guys will kill very, very quickly.
So you just use them to hunt those specific...
Yeah. Again, another little ace in the hole you can keep, just in case you bump into those armies, which has things like that. Okay. Combat-wise, they're not great. You know, they only got 2 attacks, strength 4, the halberds are strength 5, and a strength 4 stomp.
Yep.
So, but movement 7, and yeah, and they are monstrous beasts, so they are relatively quick. But that's not where they're going to earn their money. They're pretty much they're in there for gazing and support.
Yep.